Alright, what up guys? So today we're going to talk about the differences between a pomade, clay, and wax, plus any sort of other relevant hair product. Because whether you're a newcomer or an old timer, you definitely notice that in this market, there are a myriad of different hair products, many of which are actually useless to you depending on your hair type and what you want to get out of the product. And so we're going to focus specifically on the contour, the pomp, and any sort of the loose pompadour, in order to kind of limit the market a little bit and talk about what is relevant to us. And so of course we'll start off with talking about pomades, oil-based, water-bases. Then we're going to talk about water-based pomades, gel pomades, clays, and really focus in on those. But we're also talk about at the end, we'll talk about waxes, cream pomades, fiber pomades, and other stuff like that. We'll leave those to the end because they're not as relevant, or they're actually just a clever marketing ploy. So go ahead and start off with pomades. So who cares about the history? The history isn't really going to help you style your hair. What you need to know, the reason why you use a pomade is because it provides you hold instantly. And that's the only way you can really style a pompadour, is if you really get some control, some styling capabilities right away. Like with a gel, you wait for it to harden and then you get your your hold. And that's not going to work, because with a pomp, you need to be able to create that volume right away. And so that's why we use pomades. And the most traditional one is, of course, an oil-based pomade. This is, for example, known for a collab between Cody and the Melbourne Barber. And this is your traditional oil-based grease. Some things you need to take note of this one. This will provide you some amazing hold, some really predictable styling characteristics, and so that lends to really good control. However, the downside of these products are typically that you can't wash them out, they get really greasy, and so that's imagining some sort of oil on your scalp, oil on your neck, and that can be really bothersome for a majority of the population. So what essentially, to basically generalize, an oil-based pomade is just like a grease. It's what you hear about. It's typically based with hydrogenated castor oil or petroleum, just some sort of oil, or yeah, I guess that's the best way you can kind of generalize it. Some sort of oil, and so it has a certain oily consistency to it. And that's where you can assume out of these products. Now, the second most common product you'll see once you enter into the pompadour game, you can say, is a gel pomade, a water-based gel pomade. This, for example, is Tough and Tumble #2, so Solid and Shine Lava Pomade. What you get out of this is essentially the convenience of a gel, in terms of that it dries, it locks in, you can wash it all out, and there's no oil or grease on your neck. So it's convenient, super convenient. Downsides are that this thing dries up. The concern about that is that when you use oil-based pomade, it never dries. So throughout the day when your hair gets messed up, you can always fix it. Whereas with these, you can't fix it. You need a water source to even try to fix it. However, you never have to deal with any sort of flaking. For the majority, these gel pomades, flaking is not an issue unless you get really, really cheap and go for one of those shitty Axe pomades or something. That's a whole nother thing. But yes, this is a gel pomade, a water-based gel pomade, commonly referred to as a water-based pomade, but that no longer really works. That terminology no longer works, because now we have introduced to the pomade market water-based pomades, and true pomades that happen to be water-based. Some just by technicality, and others just have completely new characteristics. And so this is essentially the same exact thing as your traditional pomade, only that you remove the petroleum. Sometimes you hold on to the hydrogenated castor oil, but what you get now is a pomade that performs exactly or even better than an oil-based pomade, but now with water-based convenience, in terms of that it washes out completely, it feels dry, it never really feels greasy. The only concern now is that these typically don't have the same strength or control as an oil-based pomade, and so that's something that we do believe will be addressed in the near future though. So this, for example, is Sheer Revival Crystal Lake, probably one of the best water-based pomades currently on the market. And so what this one is it offers you light hold, pliability, and unlike a gel pomade, it never dries up. You can work through it the whole day. But because they're water-based, they tend to also evaporate much quicker, so you kind of lose that hold during the day. And so that's a water-based pomade. And so what we talk about now is basically oil-based pomade, water-based pomade, and the gel pomade. The gel pomade still get the name pomade because they still give you instantaneous hold. But yes, so next one I want to quickly talk about is a clay pomade. So this is Baxter Clay Pomade. This is actually an oil-based pomade. And there's also other ones on the market that have any water-based, like clay pomades. And so you notice that pomade exists in each of these, like, kind of, what do you want to say, as like product types, because pomade, at least to me and for a large part of the market, what it's defined by is just that it provides instantaneous hold and like good control and stuff like that. And so the difference between a clay pomade and a normal pomade is that if you, in a normal pomade, the slickness of that product like kind of captures your hair and it gets your hairs to like stick together, form into one shape. Whereas with the clay like kind of, you can say, dries out the product in a way. It takes away that slickness, it takes away that stick, and so you get a lot more texture, you get a lot more like free flowing hairs. You get straight hairs and you just get a more free-form shape to your pompadour. So like as you style it, where you leave it after you comb it is not where it stays. It has a little bit of movement, gets that nice separation, and also tends to be matte. And so these products are superior for like loose and like free-form types of pompadours, or just loose slick backs. They have their own type of aesthetic and also their own convenience, because when it gets messed up during the day, it doesn't really look messed up, and you can always fix it with your hand. These products tend to not dry at all. Like if they do harden up for any reason, like done, that one's a terrible one, don't ever use it again. But that is like a clay pomade. These are not to be confused with other clay products available on the market, texturizing clays and texturizing creams. Those are similar, but they don't provide as much hold and stuff like that. Like this one, you'll be able to form like a pompadour, and like a loose one, get lots of volume and texture. With those other products, you won't be able to get that volume. You can get texture, but never that volume. And so the last thing we really want to talk somewhat in depth with is like waxes, or kind of waxy pomades. And I believe this is like an okay example. There's quite a few other ones I just don't have on hand right now, but this is a Dave & Barber like number 3. Now they're not that different from the oil based, but in a way you can categorize them separately. Like there's another company that uses like straight up beeswax and oil in their products, and so what you essentially have is the same thing as an oil-based pomade, but you basically subtract out that petroleum, or you subtract out that hydrogenated castor oil. So what you get is a super hyper sticky product. I've never ever really chosen to style with them, but they do work. People do use them a lot of times for slick backs or like contours and stuff like that. I mean, they really stick, so they really capture every single hair, but at the same time they do tend to also be too sticky to where, like, as your comb leaves your hair, the hair still follows and it gets really messy. And so wax pomade is essentially similar to like an oil water based pomade. It's like a wax based pomade. And so those are basically the packages, that are rather the products that we tend to use with a pompadour, contour, slick back, loose pompadour, and those are like the useful products. And also, these are also in the description for the most part. I also do have a promo code connection for you guys. So if you guys are interested in these products, you can also save a little bit of money. That's all in the description of this video. I also have a written one up. That one will be a lot more detailed, hopefully. But also, real quick, I want to talk to you guys about other products, like just straight up gels, hairsprays, cream pomades, hair dressings, and hair lotions. Or grooming lotions, rather. And so grooming lotions are essentially rebranded lotion, rescented for your hair. That's all it really is. I mean, on an off day you can use it to just style some sort of loose thing, but it's just basically, imagine putting a lotion in your hair. Gels aren't gonna work. You need that hold right away, as I mentioned before. That's the purpose of a pomade. You can't really use gels, so don't bother with those. Hairsprays, don't touch it. Hair mousse, don't touch it. Not gonna work here. Hair creams. Now this is an interesting one. Hair creams have essentially been like just really dry water-based pomades. As long as the market, or rather the companies, continue to produce shitty ass cream pomades, we don't have to worry about them. Don't buy any for now, and I'll let you guys know when to actually find a good one. Same thing with fiber pomades. Fiber pomades are an excellent marketing ploy. So what they basically did is, logically it makes sense. You put fiber strands in your product and it basically lines out with your hair and then kind of supports you in a matte and dry manner. Does it really work? No, not at all. So until they also get that right and stop trying to just trick people, and like don't bother with fiber pomades either. But yes, so hopefully it's been useful to you. Try to make it as quick as possible. I know my videos always like seem like extended anyway, so I highly doubt it's even short, but whatever. Other than that, article, it should be in the description. You guys need it if you even need any more information. Other than that, go into the market with a smart mind and don't waste your money. So take care, guys, and peace.